A kingdom is an area ruled by a monarch, be it a king or a queen. Apart from the founders, kings and queens inherit leadership positions from previous family members through special provisions agreed upon by the family. A kingdom can be so large that it consists of several countries and different regions, so that people call it an empire, like the British Empire, which spans 5 continents at its peak. There was a time when our world is full of kingdoms and empires. At least, there was one kingdom in almost every part of the world. Some of them were glorious and lasted a long time. Some of them were short-lived and forgotten. One thing that determines the glory of a kingdom, of course, is its leader. Great kings are what distinguish great kingdoms from the failed ones. Some of the traits of a successful king are having great vision, imagination, ambition, courage, and brilliance in creating and executing strategies. If you think you have all of those traits and believe you are fit to be a king, then you have to play Rise of Kingdoms. Rise of Kingdoms is a mobile game that offers a real-time strategy gameplay with many features. In Rise of Kingdoms, you can recruit hundreds of historical generals, collect resources, develop technology, and build your own dream city. You can literally build a kingdom from scratch and develop it to the peak of its glory, and it couldn't be more fun. With magnificent quality of gameplay and excellent graphics, this game has become very popular worldwide. It has more than 60 million players around the globe, with very positive ratings in both Google Play and App Store. In Rise of Kingdoms, you can also choose any of the 12 civilizations that have actually appeared in history, and the Viking civilization is coming. The legendary Viking heroes, Ragnar Lodbrok and Bjorn Ironside, will be leading the Viking warriors to rage. Just download the game, and you can start building your own kingdom. Download through the first link in the description, and you will instantly receive a civilization change prop worth $50 and massive resources. There's even an opportunity to win an iPhone 12 Pro Max by participating in the second link. In order to be better prepared to build your own kingdom, it's good for you to learn from some of the greatest kings who have ever succeeded in the past. You can take note of some important things and adopt their way of leading for you to apply in Rise of Kingdoms. So, these are some of the greatest kings around the world. Western Europe. Louis XIV, also known as Louis the Great, reigned as King of France for 72 years from 1643 until his death in 1715. During that time, he led France to become the leading European power and the most powerful kingdom in the world. By the end of his reign, France had reached the peak of its glory in almost every field, from the military, economy, arts, to technology. With all those great accomplishments, he deserves to be called the greatest king in Western Europe. Eastern Europe. Alexander III of Macedon, better known as Alexander the Great, was a king of Macedonia, a kingdom in ancient Greece. Despite being in power for less than 13 years, he has achieved many kinds of extraordinary achievements. Some of his most famous achievements include the vast expansion of Macedonian territory, the conquest of nearly half of Eurasia, and the overthrow of the Great Persian Empire. It is said that he had never lost a single battle in his lifetime. He was so great that he almost became a mythological figure. Middle East. Umar bin Abdulaziz, commonly known as Umar II, was the 8th ruler of the Umayyad Caliphate. He was arguably the most successful and respected caliph due to his significant contributions in social reform. Surrounded by great scholars and scientists, he led Umayyad Caliphate to the height of its glory, which is also the beginning of the Islamic Golden Age. Despite being in control of the strongest military of that era, he is often seen as a pacifist, since he ordered the withdrawal of the Muslim army in many places and preferred peace. Central Asia. Temujin, better known as Genghis Khan, is probably the most popular person on this list. He was the founder and first ruler of the Mongol Empire, the second largest empire that has ever existed in the history of the world. Although he was often seen as a heartless and vicious ruler, there's no doubt that Genghis Khan was the greatest and most successful conqueror of all time. He has conquered entire Central Asia and a big part of Eurasia from East Asia to Eastern Europe during his lifetime. South Asia. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of the Maurya Empire, arguably the greatest and most important empire in ancient India that extended throughout most of the Indian subcontinent. Chandragupta was one of the most prominent and pivotal figures in the Indian civilization due to his success in uniting most of South Asia under one government. He was also one of the most notable competitors of Alexander the Great during that time. 2 decades of his reign set an era of political triumph, economic prosperity, social reforms, infrastructure expansions, and religious tolerance. East Asia. Qin Shi Huang became the first ruler of a unified China after he conquered all of the warring kingdoms and separated states throughout China when he was only 38. He is also the initiator of the famous Great Wall of China and the one who started the construction. His leadership is described as very tough, strong, and ambitious. He ruled China until his death, and some historians reported that there were 700,000 men who built his magnificent and luxurious tomb, which is the size of a city, along with the 6,000 warrior statues with 40,000 real bronze weapons that guard his tomb. Southeast Asia. Hayam Wurhuk was the 4th emperor of the Majapahit Empire, who ruled from 1350 to 1389. Together with his prime minister, Gajah Mada, he led the empire to the peak of its glory, with the largest reserves of wealth and the strongest military power in Southeast Asia at that time. Under his reign, Majapahit was an empire of 98 tributaries, stretching from Sumatra in the west to Thailand in the north and New Guinea in the east. Africa. Musa I, or Mansa Musa, was the 10th emperor of Mali Empire and is often regarded as one of the richest people in the history of mankind. During his reign, Mali was the largest producer of gold in the entire world. With all of his wealth, he turned a city like Timbuktu into an important cultural and education center. He also brought architects from Eurasia to design his cities and turned the ancient kingdom into a sophisticated center of learning. North America. Huitzilopochtli was the 8th ruler of the Aztec Empire. He reigned as Aztec emperor for 16 years, from 1486 to 1502, a period which is often regarded as the golden age of Aztec, characterized by its civilization that was highly developed socially, intellectually, and artistically. Huitzilopochtli was responsible for much of the expansion of the Mexica domain and consolidated the empire's power. During his reign, the Aztec Empire was expanded to its greatest territorial extent and achieved an architectural triumph. South America. Pachacuti was the 9th ruler of the Kingdom of Cusco and the first emperor of the Inca Empire that he founded. He is the initiator of an era of conquest. Under his reign, the Incas expanded their territory from southern Peru to Ecuador. Many believe that Pachacuti designed many of the majestic palaces and temples in Cusco. Most archaeologists also believe that the famous South American site of Machu Picchu was built as an estate for Pachacuti. Of course, there are many other great kings, and I cannot name them all. Maybe I'll talk about other great kings in another time, or maybe great queens too. So what do you think? Have you got the inspiration to build your own kingdom and Rise of Kingdoms? What are you waiting for? Check the link in the description and download Rise of Kingdoms right now.